There's a lot to be said about the world's loneliest continent, and the frozen tundra has been a goldmine for strange and interesting discoveries over the last 100 years. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we'll be taking a look at 3 Antarctic discoveries. NASA finds massive gravity anomaly buried under Antarctica. NASA's satellites have noticed a gravity anomaly sitting within a 300-mile-wide crater buried deep underneath Antarctica's ice, seemingly consistent with the giant asteroid. Impact that caused the Permian-Triassic extinction roughly 250 million years ago. The asteroid triggered a mass extinction that lasted nearly 2 million years, starting volcanic flows and hotspots. This crater is estimated to be almost 3 times the Chicxulub crater's size, which is the asteroid impact that killed off the dinosaurs. Scientists believe that this crater was formed even before East Antarctica's coastal Cretaceous formation. NASA and the German Aerospace Center ran a 15-year-long mission to measure gravity anomalies throughout the planet and discover how its mass is distributed and changes over time. The joint mission was called the Gravity Recovery and Climate Experiment, or GRACE, and ran from March 2002 to October 2017. They sent satellites that would detect any subtle shifts in the Earth's magnetic and gravity fields. Gravitational force is affected by mass, so any changes indicate a redistribution of mass, something large enough to alter it. GRACE sent 2 satellites into orbit at the same altitudes, one trailing the other, and circled the poles about 15 times every day. In 2006, a group of researchers examined data from these satellites when they noticed an anomaly below Antarctica's ice. Using GRACE's records, they determined that the anomaly was due to a massive crater that had been buried for millions of years, most likely from an asteroid impact. The discovery has instigated a flurry of theories, with the most popular being the existence of 1930s and 1940s German bases. Theorists claim that Germany built secret hideouts in the continent during that time, evidenced by the multiple entrances that exist around Antarctica. They argue that the Germans were building UFOs because the entrance's size required you to fly in a saucer-shaped vessel. In 1991, the KGB revealed classified documents from the US Navy's Operation Highjump, which proved they had sent numerous missions to the Antarctic during the 1970s. The theorists say that although the Navy claimed they were only researching the continent, they were there to investigate an entrance that supposedly led to the inner Earth. Thousands of sailors and crew were dispatched over the years, allowing rumors of UFO bases, German hideouts, and portals to the underworld to grow. Scientists, though, argue that the mysterious anomaly is an impact crater. The massive Wilkes Land gravity anomaly is about 151 miles wide and reaches a minimum depth of 2,700 feet. Researchers believe that a giant asteroid could have impacted the Antarctic and initiated the Permian-Triassic extinction, which was the largest extinction of life in Earth's history. It killed 96% of all sea creatures and about 70% of the land-dwelling vertebrate organisms, much more catastrophic than what killed the dinosaurs. The collision would have caused drastic climate changes and created a challenging environment to live in, resulting in many species to have lost their lives. Since the crater is covered by miles of thick glacial ice, researchers have not been able to test it or pull samples properly. They have only been able to quickly inspect it based on its magnetic and gravitational anomalies. Scientists have no accurate way to figure out what is buried deep within Antarctica's ice, so it will remain a mystery until they do. Substance found in Antarctic ice may solve a Martian mystery. Deep within an ice core from Antarctica, scientists discovered a mineral that is commonly found on the planet Mars. Researchers are ecstatic as it reveals a little bit more about Mars's history and its similarities with Earth. The mineral, known as jarosite, is a brittle, yellow-brown substance forged when dust gets trapped in early ice deposits. The research team was not expecting to find jarosite during their expedition. Instead, they were looking for records of Ice Age cycles. By taking a 1,620-meter-long ice core, The researchers would examine the minerals and see detailed layers of the Earth's history within the past few thousand years. They did not expect to find dust deep in the core. The team measured how it absorbed X-rays and examined them under electron microscopes to confirm the mineral's identity. The NASA Opportunity rover first found jarosite on Mars in 2004. The rover discovered the mineral because it had driven over finely ground layers of it. It was a groundbreaking discovery, as jarosite needs iron, potassium, sulfate, acidic conditions, and water to form. Researchers finally had irrefutable proof that there had been water on Mars. The planet is covered in thick deposits of jarosite, revealing just how crucial glaciers were in forming its valleys and land. The leading theory is that Mars was once covered in massive ice deposits billions of years ago. Dust accumulated under the ice sheets and eventually transformed into jarosite. The dust found in the Antarctic ice core was cracked and smoothed, revealing it had been formed and eroded from chemicals while in the ice. This suggests that the jarosite found on Mars had been created in the same way, providing a window into the planet's water-limited and acidic weathering. Geologists explain that even though only tiny jarosite particles were found in Antarctica's ice core, it is still a crucial discovery. The mineral is created from dust, which Antarctica only receives a small amount from the other continents. Mars, on the other hand, is full of dust, encouraging the formation of jarosite. Researchers want to investigate further whether Mars's ancient glaciers incited the creation of other minerals as well, contributing to the planet's entire chemical makeup. They just never expected the deep ice in Antarctica to be the most crucial link to the Martian environment. We are now one step closer to understanding Mars's chemical makeup and formation process. Huge Polyneia hole appears in Antarctica sea ice. Despite being in the dead of Antarctica's sub-zero winter with frozen-over oceans, massive holes have been opening up in Antarctica's sea ice and puzzling scientists for decades. Their most recent occurrence was during the 2016 and 2017 winters, but researchers have been aware of them even in the 1970s. Now they've finally figured out why and how they exist. These holes are called polyneias, which is Russian and translates to hole in the ice. They are massive, with the smallest one being roughly South Carolina's size, which covers just over 32,000 square miles. To figure out why they were forming, researchers used various creative methods to gather data on the ocean and ice. They placed floats throughout the Southern Ocean with sensors to produce a record of the climate quality and measure its variability during the winter season. Researchers even attached sensors to elephant seals, placing them on their heads to gather data on the ocean underneath the ice. These sensors helped the scientists understand how the ocean water gets mixed up while below the surface, drawing the cold water down and bringing the relatively warmer water to the top. This water that rises is then hot enough to melt the ice. For these giant voids to open up in the ice, many environmental components need to come together at the right time. Surprisingly, the formation of polyneias is not a gradual process. It appears without notice. Suddenly, the ice gives way and a giant hole appears in the middle of the floating ice, despite it being some meters thick. Scientists have also considered the impact that moored rise has on the formation of polyneias. This massive mountain lies under the water near the holes and is large enough to intensify the water's movement, sending warm water to the surface. Despite the mountain's colossal size, proximity, and potential influence, researchers note that polyneias do not occur every year. They finally figured out that violent storms play a critical role in the formation of polyneias. The Southern Ocean is a dangerous area during the winter, as storms occur nearly every day and with hurricane-force gales. The strong winds attack the ice, blowing through its cracks and constantly rocking it. It agitates the water under the ice, forcing the cold water layer down and pushing the warm and saltier water up. The winds increase the water's movement, causing the ice to melt. Some winters have had the storms and wind occurring closer to the continent than others, pummeling the ice and water so much that polyneias end up forming. Scientists reveal that the amount of heat coming from the rising water is substantial and damaging. When polyneias occur, they release massive amounts of hot air into the atmosphere, which then affects weather patterns worldwide. If a hole is large enough, it can even affect the tropics' rain patterns for a few years. As climate change worsens and the Earth's atmosphere alters, scientists expect the winter storms around Antarctica to grow even stronger. The strengthening of winds means more polyneias in the ice, potentially making their way towards Antarctica's ice shelves. These shelves hold the glaciers over the ocean. More holes could dramatically increase the threat on the deteriorating ice masses. But what do you make of these 3 Antarctica discoveries and their impact upon us? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below and help us by growing this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.